And welcome to Our Time. Bronwen James is a professional actor, voiceover artist, drama teacher and marriage celebrant. She's worked extensively with Patch Theatre Company, the State Theatre Company of South Australia. She's been in movies and TV, and during her career, Bronwen has portrayed everything from a singing spider, a maggot, a singing tree, can't wait for that one, various witches and hags, a tortoise, a goat, a fox, a lion, and she's flown on the back of a unicorn, every girl's dream. She's also a qualified and registered civil celebrant and has had the privilege of facilitating many unique weddings, commitment and funeral ceremonies, having trained at the Academy of Celebrity Australia. Sorry, we've got to stop there. Say it for me, Bronwen.
Celebrancy.
That one.
You've got to hit the N.
Thank you. Go back to me what she said, which is a national recognised training organisation, and everyone, almost everyone, calls her Bronwen James. Hello.
Hello.
Sorry. Sometimes words just don't come out when they're supposed to.
Well, that was a mouthful. I'm exhausted just hearing about all of that. Yeah.
You're the mouthful.
More than a
the
mouthful.
red-headed mouthful.
Yes.
We're going to talk about your career, which has been amazing, as they say, but you're working now on a one-woman show based on what you've got round your face.
My red hair.
Please explain a little more.
All right. Well, it's actually all your fault, I think.
No, nothing to do
I
with
think it might be, because you were the one who said, if you've got something to say and you've got something to write about, oh, there I am.
Yes.
That's me.
It
Yeah.
is. Look at you. Scrub up pretty well.
Well, I am considerably younger there, I must say.
It was only last week. I was there.
But that's kind of the inspiration for the show. It's been this lifelong attachment to my red hair. And now I'm a lady of a certain age. It's
26.
like, yeah, that's the one. It's like, well, when do you decide? When is the time that you surrender to the fact that you're having to dye those roots every couple of weeks?
Oh, people that dye their hair, I can't believe that you would.
Shocking.
Shocking.
But I guess what I'm asking in the show is about identity. You know, who am I if I'm not this person with red hair? And it's something that I've been doing for so many years. And then I thought, well, do you grow into being that person with the red hair? And as I started to unpack it, I realised that red-headed people have had a pretty bad deal of things historically. And so why would I want to take on that mantle of being that vibrant, passionate, often people say bad-tempered, red-headed. And
Are you bad-tempered?
No, I'm not.
So,
I'm actually really easygoing. But if I lose my temper, look out.
There's a but,
It's shocking.
There's a but.
I frighten myself.
So just explain, the show is really, the content of the show is it remembering famous redheads from history?
Yeah.
Not just history, but
no,
all over.
And current day. I'm very moved by Julia Gillard and what she went through. We've just had the anniversary of her misogyny speech last year, and I don't know that we've actually come too far. So what it is about that time when this fiery, passionate, articulate, intelligent woman was finally calling people out on, you know, the BS
misogyny
that was going on. And I'm afraid, really alive and well, we're still fighting that battle 10 years on. And when you really unpack what she went through, it was truly shocking. And I'm interested in that. I don't know how she
not only shocking, but something of the past that shouldn't be part of the future.
Indeed.
Crazy.
And yet
Crazy.
we're still wrangling with that stuff.
But also you've got other famous women like Lucille Ball, who
very interested.
Who very few people really understand what a huge influence she had on the TV industry. Her and Desi, her husband.
Yes, she was incredibly a trailblazer at the time and the most powerful television star at her in her heyday.
And also she was, I think, the first female movie mogul.
Yeah. I believe so.
Yeah.
So I'm really interested in her comedic prowess as well, and I'm hoping that I can bring some of that to the show.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at all guises. Like, surely the misogyny stuff is fairly serious, but
Yep.
then the Lucille Ball element
Is very funny.
Is very funny.
And you've done a bit of research on Phil Skinner, who was
Yeah.
a national comedian, but ended
Yes.
up here in Adelaide when the vaudeville circuit sort of died off.
Yep.
And I've interviewed, well, Phil and I were very close, and I've interviewed Phil. She's been on this program.
Yep.
And she used to say, I was born a redhead and I'll die a redhead. And very sadly, this is quite personal, I've never said this before, but I was with her literally moments before she passed, and I said to her, you had your wish.
She went out a redhead.
She certainly
this is the
did,
thing
yep.
about people with red hair. We're really passionate about it, and red-headed women will often keep on dyeing their hair till their dying day.
Literally.
And literally,
Yeah,
yes.
literally.
And
Is
so I'm
it,
really interested
what is
in
it
that.
though? Do you think the red hair, the genes of red hair, give you something that others maybe don't?
Well, yeah,
A difference?
often attributed to the Irish and the Scottish, and certainly they are renowned as being fiery and passionate people. So chicken and the egg, what comes first?
Well,
you know, for
well-
those of us who've kind of, because there's a bit of a secret here, Malcolm. Although I was born with the white eyebrows and the white freckly skin, and I suffered all those indignities at high school or in the 1970s where everybody was beautifully tanned and just lay on the beach
Oh,
with
and you
their
were white.
baby. I was blindingly white, almost blue. I was so white. And it really, I blame that on my lack of sporting prowess, because I'd do anything to get out of PE, because having to wear those short skirts and bare
And
my
your
white
white
legs was just
Well,
so...
they're black now.
Well, they are.
Yes.
You see, I've learnt the tricks of the trade, just wear very, very heavy tights. But it was an indignity, you know. So I thought, as I started to become involved in the theatre, I got very attracted to my identity, even back then. And I thought, well, bloomin' heck, if I've got this white freckly skin and I've got these white eyebrows, then I want the carrot red hair, because I was really kind of like a dull brown. There was red in there, but I wanted the vibrant red hair.
Right.
I wanted to stick out, you know, so
So-
a lifetime of dyeing, really.
I can't possibly imagine. So do you think, though, that having those genes does give you fire? Because all of the red-headed women I've known have all had fire.
Yeah, right. Yeah, quite possibly. I think...
Strength.
Yeah, passion.
Sometimes and passionate.
Yeah.
Sometimes a little bit too strong and passionate.
Yeah, quite possibly. Well,
Did that make you an actor, do you think? Do you think this is where the
No.
genes came from? Or was it from your mum?
Well, certainly my parents met in the theatre in London. It's a very romantic story, and I think there's a show in that as well.
Okay.
But my dad came over from Australia to London, and he actually took over from Ray Lawler in the
Oh, really?
original production of Summer of the 17th
17th
Doll
Doll.
as Barney. So he just happened to be in London at the right time. So Ray Lawler evidently had done the West End season of Summer of the 17th Doll, and he didn't want to do the regional tour. And so they were suddenly looking for a small Australian person, which was right up my dad's alley, and he got to do that touring back then. And then he hung around in London hoping for another gig, I suppose.
Well, that was what
and met
all
my mum.
Australians went.
Indeed.
And did.
Yeah, that's what
As
they
you
did.
did.
Yes.
But just
Yeah.
following that thread,
Yeah.
so let's just jump to more recently.
Yeah.
So there's 3 generations of you.
Yeah.
We've got some photos
Yeah.
of your mum, you and your daughter
That's right.
involved in some shows. So let's
Yep.
just have a quick look at these, because it's really interesting to see the generations there.
Yeah, that's a little night music,
Mm-hmm.
and my daughter Georgia played the granddaughter. My mum played Madame Armfeld,
Mm-hmm.
the old lady, and I played Desiree, who sings "Send in the Clowns," and
The
that's
naughty
them
one.
on stage. Yeah,
Well, not so naughty.
not so naughty.
The actress.
Yeah,
You were an actress,
indeed.
playing an actress.
But it was a pretty amazing time because that was the last show my mum ever did before she died. So
Isn't that great to have?
yeah, and that's the first show, first show that I did as a young adult with my mum, but I was only 15, 14. Peter Gers directed that, The Matchmaker.
Right.
She played Dolly Levi.
The original Dolly, yeah.
Yeah.
My Dolly.
And I don't know if there's another one.
Yes, here.
Yeah, so that's me and Mum just last year when I got to play Dolly in the musical version of The Matchmaker called Hello Dolly, and that's Mum, again, shortly before she died.
Yes, but isn't that lovely to have those memories
Yeah.
and to actually play the same roles?
Yeah.
You know, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So
it's
let's
very
go back
special.
now right to the beginning of your life. Were you a precocious child that got up and performed at everything?
Yes, I reckon I was, mainly because I'd just go to the rehearsals that my mum and dad were doing. And
This is your learning time.
This was my learning time, and I was very, very lucky that I got to watch some pretty incredible people at work. And there might have been other kids around and they would always want to play, and I'd go, no, I want to watch, because that's when I saw, especially my mum, come alive. She was a very different person at home, but on stage she literally shone, and
Yes, isn't that
I
interesting?
fell
Well, that's it,
in love
isn't
with
it?
that. Yeah.
But that's what makes an actor.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
look, we've got to take a short break,
Yep.
and we'll be back in just a tick. Our guest on Our Time this time is the actress Bronwen James, or Bronwen James is your proper name, but everyone calls you Bronnie.
They do.
And is there a reason for that?
I think as a child I always thought Bronwen was a kind of a
Bronwen.
big, kind of fat old lady name. Which
suppose,
my
yes.
Welsh grandfather would be mortified to hear me say that, because Bronwen spelt with an E.
Yes.
It's been the bane of my life. But he was Llewellyn George Jones. So he was a Llewellyn with the in there. And you can't get much more Welsh than that.
No.
And he was very proud of his Bronwen, because I was actually born on St David's Day, which is the patron saint of Wales.
Well,
There you go. Don't get much more Welsh than that. So Julia Gillard and I have another thing in common, our Welsh heritage. And hope I can do it proud in the show.
Well, can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see this. Okay, so let's just go back to what we were talking about before. So you didn't go to an acting school here or any of those things because you had the great opportunity to watch actors acting at rehearsal, and in a way by osmosis you learnt the trade, so to speak.
Yeah.
Then, well, you did a show here. We've got a photo of the show you did here, and then you went to London. So what was the show you did here?
That's Mum again with me in Gigi. And I would have been about 18 years old.
Right.
17, 18. Then I go to London, and that's the House of Bernarda Alba.
Did you have a short haircut then?
Well, it's Spanish, and I was very brooding. I was the naughty one in the House of Bernarda Alba, who sneaks out from out of her mother. That's The Lady's Not for Burning, a restoration comedy play. And strangely, my mum played that same part when she was about the same age too.
Oh, interesting.
And that was in London.
Yep.
So I did lots of fringe theatre in London, and then eventually came back 6 years later and got going with Patch Theatre Company. And that was a show called Once Upon a Ruby Red, where I played the witch who was the spider and the wolf and inside a tree.
And did you ride a unicorn?
Not in that show.
Okay.
We did a version of Pigs Might Fly. And which was a beautiful show, and it was like a big puppet head, and the whole stage erupted, and I rode on the back of the unicorn. That's Solstice with the State Theatre Company. Kate Sobrano in the background, Mark Saturno, who's gone on to bigger and better things.
Well, as has Kate.
As has Kate, yes, for sure. That was a wonderful thing in the amphitheatre.
Right.
And for one of the festivals many moons ago, I think 94.
But you did quite a lot of work with the State Theatre Company.
I did for a while
You were
then.
like their news soubrette.
Oh, yes, there I am as the pin-up
poster
girl.
girl,
1997, there you go. That's
Oh,
when
there
I
you are,
was hit my stride. My time in the sun, really. And then I kind of met the love of my life and had too many babies and had to drag them around the country.
It sounds like you've got 13.
No, 3. But 3 is a lot to manage. This is Don's party, the wonderful Russell Keifel, who I believe unfortunately is with us, Greg Stone behind him, and Archie Michael. Don's party, we had a wow of a time.
I'm sure you would have, because that's a very good piece.
Yeah.
You look so different there.
Yes. Oh, they bleached blonde my hair in that one. It was, yes, took a while to get over that one. That's Don's party again, playing Jodie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and that's The Department, another Williamson play, and with the beautiful Paul Blackwell.
And there you're on the right-hand side.
Yes, looking
You look like you're smoking there.
I am smoking there. And then back into the amphitheatre with the wonderful Nicholas Hope for Tales of the Arabian Nights. Which,
you know, isn't it lovely to have things like this? Because for performers, sometimes the benefit of being able to look back and read about yourself reminds you of all those things that happen.
Well, I must say, when you gave that introduction, I thought, my goodness, I'm exhausted just listening to it.
Well, when you look back on your life, though, and you're a mum, and you've been doing a whole lot for your family in the last short time, it's just amazing how much we can jam into our lives.
Indeed. I've had big pregnant pauses. I'm not somebody...
You've had 3 big pregnancies. What do you mean?
Well, pauses in my career, which has given me the opportunity to look at other things in my life, and certainly...
Like being a marriage celebrant.
Marriage celebrant and a funeral celebrant, yes.
That too.
Yeah. And I predominantly got into that because of funerals, I have to say.
Right.
And that's a wonderful opportunity to tell stories.
Isn't it?
And it has been very informing for me as I've become an older person.
Well, human life stories are fascinating. I say to everyone, you must write a book, because the issue is that when you go, often your whole life story is gone. And if it's gone, your children don't know anything about you.
Yeah.
They only know the time that you've spent with them. So consequently, you sort of missed all of those things that you've achieved in your life.
Yeah.
And it's gone. It's just forgotten.
And if I had $1 for every time after a ceremony somebody's come up to me and said, I just didn't know that about Auntie so-and-so.
Exactly.
And I always encourage my clients to really open up the opportunity for other people to come in and tell stories about their loved ones, because sometimes there's gold there. And we know what they meant to us, but when you actually hear what your loved one meant to everybody else,
exactly,
the sense of pride and ownership that you have, you just go, I didn't know that they held that space for you in that way.
It's the
wonderful.
word love, isn't it?
It's
really,
love.
when you think about it.
Yes, I'm working on 2 funerals at the moment and a wedding on Sunday. And funerals, you just never know when they're going to come up. And I'm always so honoured when people say, oh, Bronnie, we can't imagine anybody else doing it but you. And people say, don't you see that as a burden? And in a way, when you have that personal connection, of course, I shed a tear and I think, is that such a bad thing? We're all human. I don't blub, I don't lose control. That's where the acting skill comes in, I suppose. But to actually hold that space for people in a non-religious way, but no matter what, a ritual is a heightened experience.
Of course.
And it's meant to be that way. It's meant to shift energy. And it's kind of what we do in the theatre as well. We're shifting energy. We're hoping to take people on a journey.
Yes, but you're living in the moment, aren't you? And when you're doing that, that's the real moment of doing that.
Yes, and live theatre especially for me always has been my place. It's that incredible interaction that you feel.
It's weird though,
with an
isn't
audience.
it? It's weird. You know, the audience have to be there and they have to see you losing it, loving it, laughing. You know, they have to see you being real. And if you're not real,
they'll all go home and feel empty. And I think that's true about a ritual too. It has to have that authenticity in it. And people can tell. They can tell when it's resonating from a deep well or when it's empty words. And that's why I got involved in doing it in the first place, because I'd gone to so many funerals of people that I'd known in my life, and I just went, where are they in there? I can't see that person that I loved. You know, I just kind of wanted to throw the celebrant out the way and say, get out the way, I'll tell you all about how wonderful this person was.
But the other thing is, we all have to accept the fact we're all going to go at some point. But same thing, if you don't write a bit about yourself before the people that you love, like your family, knew you, we don't know. Like, I didn't know, I've known you for a long time, but I didn't know that bit about how much you'd worked with your parents and how you went to rehearsals with them.
Yep, absolutely.
You know, so there's always something new to find out about people.
There is.
But you've also done quite a few same-sex marriages.
I have. It's been a wonderful thing to be able to do ever since the same-sex marriage bill came through. And it seems to be a bit of a niche of mine. I love to celebrate love in all its forms. And I have to say, those have been incredibly special. Just did two lovely men a couple of weeks ago, and it was just them. But
also, you were saying that, you know, sometimes what the people do, whichever sex they are, whatever they do, and they talk to you about their life experience either together or what they do for a profession or whatever, suddenly opens your mind up to so many other possibilities.
So many.
Do you write all what you've got to do, or do they bring their vows to you?
A mixture. You know, I love to hear their stories, and oftentimes I will craft it and frame it and put it back to them, give it back to them to tweak. But sometimes they write like everything, and they don't require much from me. But of course, it's in the delivery of it. And once again, in that role, it's about, I was saying to a couple on Sunday that I met, it's almost like we work on something sometimes up to about a year. And then I've got about 20 minutes before the ceremony to really bring everybody else on board before we start. It's kind of like birthing a baby. You know, we've created this thing, and then it becomes public property for the people who love you the best. And once again, if people come up to me and say, that wedding was just so them, then I know that I've done my job right. And I have to say that now I really do feel like this is my purpose. This incorporates all of who I am.
I understand. Bronwen, so much more to talk about and so little time, but we are going to be back in just a tick. Our guest is actor Bronwen James. Do you like being called an actor or actress?
I really don't care.
As long as they call you.
As long as they call me.
Exactly. Now, we just talked about being a certain age and certain life experience. You've done a lot of films, you've done a lot of stage work.
Not a lot of films.
Yeah, well, when you read your resume, you've been in quite a few.
Maybe I lied.
Yeah, you better read your own resume again. Because that's true, we forget about a lot of stuff. But as we grow older, do you find that you're losing roles, or is there a bit of a push now to have age within shows more?
Look, when you're a woman of a certain age, they've got to put you into categories. And I accepted a long time ago that, you know, I should have had a nose job when I was about 19. That would have helped.
Can I look in profile,
and
please?
I've got my father's nose.
Well, as long as you still smell good.
But, you know, for camera work, they're looking for a certain type. So and the best thing I ever did was a course in Los Angeles, which really helped me to understand.
Oh, we didn't even talk about that.
No. But it was one of the most life-changing experiences, because they actually talked about casting to type. And that's what they do in film and television. They need somebody who's going to walk in there and be the typical granny, the typical mum, the
and
typical
look exactly
whatever.
right without all the other makeup and carry on, unless
Exactly
you're playing a Lifetime.
That's it.
Or
And
Nicole
I never,
Kidman.
yeah, right. Well, she's got classically well-balanced features and, yeah, there
But
you go.
the beauty of stage work, though, is you can really play lots of different ages because at a distance, it doesn't really matter.
No.
What do you want to achieve still? Apart from the show Red,
Yeah.
that we talked about right at the beginning.
You know what? I think the celebrant work is finally starting to inform me as the artist. And what I realised is that I've always kind of thought that I was an interpreter or a character actor of other people's work. And suddenly I feel like I've got something to say. And so I feel like I'm not really just an actor, but an artist, you know, and there is a difference.
Yep.
And certainly being a woman of a certain age, you have to start making your own work.
But you've also got the experience of life, and making your own work, I think, is absolutely.
Yeah.
Bronnie, it's been great talking to you. Thank you so much.
Lovely. Thank you.
And I hope you've enjoyed our conversation, because it's been just lovely having a chat with my friend Vonnie. So until next time on OurTime, keep yourself nice till then. Bye.